Coffee down. Coffee's for closers only.
Oh, have I got your attention now?
Hey.
What's up, guys? How we doing?
What's going on? How's it going?
Happy Wednesday, guys. Welcome back. Coffee with Closers. Your hosts, David Dodge and Gavin Timms. I'm sitting next to Andrew Abernathy. I'm actually on a real estate mini meetup, and he's like, let's do this, man. We got Andrew Schlag as a guest today. I'm feeling
good to be with you. And you've got both Andrews. What can I say?
That's what's up. Andrew, have you met Andrew?
Not yet.
You guys
Not
met?
yet.
Your name, and I'm sure all of
Oh, man, this is great. So we really got two guests today. This is awesome.
It's
Last
amazing.
minute, very, very cool. But Andrew Schlag is the man. I'm so happy that you're able to join us today, Andrew, and just talk all things real estate. Hopefully you got yourself a cup of coffee.
I'm
man.
set, baby.
Man, that's what I'm talking about. But dude, it was so good to get to see you and hang out with you in Tampa a couple weeks ago. And you are doing big things. You are doing big things. And this Andrew over here is doing big things.
It's an Andrew thing.
It's an Andrew thing. Holy
What can we
cow.
say?
Me and Dave are just hanging out.
I'm so happy that you are going to give us some of your time today. The show goes for about an hour, give or take. And very unscripted. We just like to have fun. We're here to crack some jokes, talk real estate, provide value. But more importantly, we really encourage the audience interaction. And the audience is going to have questions and comments, and you're going to see at the bottom of the screen if you haven't watched us yet. This is episode 24, by the way. Very, very cool. But there's going to be comments coming through. And if you're watching, guys, we encourage you to ask questions, right? We're here to help. We're here to provide value. And if there's no questions, then we're just going to do our own thing. And we're just going to talk real estate at the end of the day. So enough from me. Gavin.
I have a question.
Yes. What's up, dude? How are you?
I mean, you're not just at any meetup. You're just playing it down, right? You've been playing Maverick and Goose all week.
That's right.
So what are you doing?
That's
What's
right.
been going on? It's been. I've actually got the picture up right now. I was just looking at it. Pretty. If anyone can see that.
Yes. Look at that. That's so cool. So Andrew did it too.
Yeah, it was awesome.
Yeah,
That's amazing.
Incredible.
So we're back in Tampa, and we're in a mastermind called the Multipliers, and actually got my buddy Bob sitting right over here too. But there is, how many people are here? Maybe 7 or 8?
Yeah,
about eight people, and 6 of the 8 are flying fighter jets this week. So 2 of the guys are actually at the airport right now, flying fighter jets. And Andrew went
They
on
sent me up
Tuesday
first
morning. You were the first
to make sure the plane worked. Yeah.
Everyone needs that guy. Everyone needs that guy.
That's right. So Andrew and Chris Arnold, they went yesterday morning, and then myself and Chris Craddock went yesterday afternoon. And it was short flights. They're only 30 minutes, but man, it was so fun to get up there and do some barrel rolls and some stalls, and we're going almost 300 miles an hour in a fighter jet. It was G-forces, man. It was
Was
awesome.
anyone sick? Has anyone threw up yet?
Like after everybody got back to the ground, not everybody, most of us, we were kind of like, like, because the G-forces, we're just not used to it, right?
Yeah.
Nobody got sick or threw up or anything like that. Nobody passed out. Yeah, did you?
Almost.
No.
How fast did you go?
Well, yeah, go ahead.
So it's in knots. Knots are 1.15 miles per hour per knot. And we were averaging about 200 knots, which is 230 miles an hour.
Yeah.
But when you do certain dives, the airspeed goes way up. So
Yeah.
I'd say top speed was maybe just under 300, maybe 260 to 280.
Yeah. They
That's
basically
a lot of force, man.
Yeah, you don't feel speed, you feel maneuvers. So like we were almost 4G, so we're in 1G right now, right? Like your normal weight. So 2G would be double.
I got 5G, brother.
Yeah. That's awesome.
That's awesome.
Call me 200 pounds. I'm shy of that, but that's 800 pounds is what I felt. So that's what
Wow.
the blood pressure is, and about pass out.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
It was awesome. It was so awesome. But enough about us. And Andrew, Drew, you just changed your name. I like it. Man, tell us a little bit about, what you've been up to for, when you got started in real estate. I got to go on for too long, but, maybe 4 minutes. And
Sure.
I'm sure I got questions. Gavin's going to have questions. If this Andrew's got questions. But again, thanks for coming on the show today, man.
My pleasure. So yeah, I go by Andrew commonly. I do have a lot of people call me Drew. I actually work with some folks in California. One of their team members is Andrew. So I always adjust my name to Drew when I go on their calls because all that team calls me Drew. So fun fact. But I have a world of respect for you guys. Great to meet you, Andrew.
Yeah,
And of course, David and Gavin, I've known you guys for a while now. And man, just admire and love what you all do. You're killing it. You're always doing amazing things and helping people. And one of the biggest things that stood out to me, the first time I remember meeting you guys and having lunch was David specifically telling me, you ever need anything? And he does a lot online, and he said, you ever need anything, help with your online, let me know. And he even sent me some facts about what mic to get for my videos. And it was just really cool. And these guys are givers, and that is big to me in this world. When you meet givers, they are always the people who are winning. And I love that. So thank you for that.
Hey,
Thank you.
But yeah, so my name is Andrew or Drew. I go by both, and I live in Louisville, Kentucky. And I started buying houses back in 2014. I was 21 and flat broke at the time, and started out doing some wholesale deals, and then quickly started implementing the terms deals. And so in 2015, at 22 years old, I bought 50 houses in 52 weeks. And
how old are you?
Yeah.
I was 22. I'm 29 now. I'm getting up there.
He's 20. Man, this guy is so young. Holy
Bro, you're killing it. I love it.
I
Yeah, you
love
too,
it.
man.
Yes.
I love young winners, man. I love all winners, but that's cool. That's cool. So yeah, that's kind of how I launched, and went from flat broke to a massive real estate portfolio, bringing in over $25,000 a month in less than 36 months. And I said, this is cool. And then, of course, it progressed from there, and continued to grow the team. The real estate got 9 team members right now. Got 2 more team members starting by November 1st. So we'll be 11. 9.
Okay, yeah, I was gonna say. Nine's still a big number though, man. Holy cow.
Yeah, 9 team members, and so we'll be at 11 by the 1st of November, and so growing that out, doing amazing. That's exciting. And then, of course, people started asking me, how are you doing that? And so back in 2017, we started helping others get started, and so that kind of grew into what I do now, helping people help people get to their first 30K in their first 30 days. So I got a big a deal going with that. And so
is so cool. You were telling me this 2 weeks ago. I think that's when we were in Tampa together about 2 weeks ago, and how you were helping people get 30K either from a wholesale, from a fix and flip, or from a rental and equity, or a lease option, or whatever it may be. But 30K in 30 days, dude, that is awesome.
I love that.
Yes.
That's the best.
It's so cool.
It rings. I love it. And of course, my students who are in it absolutely love it. Of course, they're killing it, and I'm getting rave reviews about it. And so yes, that's a lot of fun. And I love behind me, you'll see the student success wall. So I love seeing students do well. So have a lot of fun.
Super cool.
Thank you.
Now, what market are you in? I know this answer, but I can't think of it right.
I live in Louisville. I do business here. I also do a ton over in Indiana, Evansville, Indiana, and that's where I actually started buying. And we do some other areas too, but mainly in Kentucky and Indiana markets. So,
okay, very cool.
Yeah.
So, what is your main focus right now? Is it fix and flip? Is it buying rentals and adding to the portfolio of rentals? Is it owner financing? What's your main focus? And I'm not talking about the education and the coaching, because that itself is awesome, and you are the man when it comes to that stuff, by all means. But with your own business, that's what I want to talk about here for a few minutes. What's your main focus and or niche?
Yeah, so right now, about 70% of what we do is I'm doing owner finance deals, creative finance deals, and I buy them on creative finance, sell them on lease option. That's kind of the bread and butter, always has been for me.
Man, so both sides, you're buying on owner finance.
Yes.
And then you're selling on owner finance.
Lease option. Yeah.
Selling on lease option.
Yep.
Gavin,
So
we can't hear you. Say that again.
yeah,
No, I was just saying he was selling on lease option, buying on owner finance, selling on lease option.
Sometimes we'll let Gavin talk.
Yeah. So currency.
Normally, Andrew, if this is your first time with David, if you want to speak, you just have to cover his mouth, just give it the cup, and just start
I'm working
talking.
on it, man. I'm working on it.
No, you're good, brother. You're good.
So yes, we do a lot of that, and I love the thing I do a lot of wholesale. I do one fix and flip a month on average right now.
Okay.
That's
That's a good amount.
Yeah, it's good, keeps the team busy, and then I do some wholesales, 1 or 2 a month of wholesales. Yet when it comes to doing the terms, the creative finance, I love the fact that it takes so little of the team's time, because most houses we don't have to do hardly any work to, if any. We're buying on terms, and we turn around, we get money up front. As you guys know how it works, money every month, and then when the buyer cashes us out, money again. And so that's just by far my favorite model, not to mention, tax rates are better if you have it for over a year. So.
Man, I absolutely love that. So when you're doing these, I'd imagine that you're looking for a specific type of seller.
Yes.
Talk about that just briefly.
Absolutely. So we work with actually 2 types of sellers. The most common is a motivated seller, someone who needs to sell. Yes. Perhaps they, recent example, a lady calls us. She's behind 3 months on her mortgage. She's lost her job and she just needs out fast. And without us, she was going to lose the house and have a foreclosure on her record. And we agreed to buy the house from her with owner financing. We brought our mortgage current and started making a payment every month. And then we, of course, turned around and lease optioned it for a profit. In that case, she was somebody who lost a job and was needing to sell quickly. We also find people who sometimes just want to sell for a top dollar, and maybe their house isn't brand new renovated like the other 10 that are on the MLS. And so maybe it needs some paint, or it has some wallpaper, or maybe it has pink carpet in the entryway. And so some little odds or ends that's keeping it from being top dollar for retail, we can pay a great price because we're buying with terms. And so commonly people who either A, want to get more money over time, or B, are extremely motivated and just need out. And we are, in those cases, of course, the answer to their prayer. And a lot of times without us, they would have zero. With us, they get a check.
So 2 questions on that, okay? Because that's really good. So what list are you marketing to? Like, what's your form of marketing do you like?
Yes.
Like, what marketing are you doing, and what list do you like to pull to target these people? So I guess it's 2 questions.
Sure. So we're always testing lists. Right now, we're having some success with Inherited. We're always testing lists. Right now, our biggest successes are coming from 2 sources: Google and Facebook ads, so online ads, and Bandit Signs.
Promoted on seller leads?
Yes.
Facebook ads?
Google and Facebook. So we go to Google. We spend right now, and depending, some people will this will do a drop in the bucket, and some people are going to gasp when I say this number. But we fluctuate spending $100 to $200 a day on Google, and then
It's not that much, really.
It's not.
Yeah.
When you do the math, it's not that much. Yet I know somebody who maybe is brand new. If there's somebody listening who just started, I wouldn't expect anybody to go out and start doing that, right?
Yeah, sure.
Do Bandit Signs, go look online, do all the free stuff, right? Go find a deal, get some big checks, and then come back to paying for mark. When it comes to the Google, they go on Google, they find us, and for whatever reason, some of them don't fill out the form right away. Well, in Facebook, then our ads begin following those people who Googled us.
Man, I didn't even think of that. That's such a great way to do that. Just follow them around the internet.
So yes. I have another question on that. Are you doing targeted marketing to like zip codes and counties, or are you going like nationwide with your marketing?
Targeted.
So
definitely
in Evansville, Indiana, and Louisville, Kentucky. And I would imagine you have a buy box and or a radius or something along those lines that you're doing the marketing to.
Correct. You'll find also in a smaller market, if you live in an area, say your town's 100,000, give or take. from my experience, that is something that's very easy to dial in with Google and Facebook ads very quickly if you have the right people on it, the right team running your ads. When it comes to a bigger market, let's say, exceeding $500,000 and on up, it takes a lot more work to dial that in. So we do two things. Number one, we pick out a specific area in that market of, say, 100,000 people we want to focus on. Number two, we focus on the outskirts. So when you focus on the outskirts, there's a little town on the side of St. Louis, for example, and on this outskirts of St. Louis, you're focused on Charleston or something, a smaller little area right now, and then once you perfect that, then you start building out. Because I've seen people just go in and start dumping money in a big market, and unless you have 30 or 40,000 a month ad spend budget, probably not a good idea.
Yeah,
well, that's huge. So let's not just brush past that, because that was a little gold nugget for everyone right there. So basically, you're staying out the big metro areas and you're hitting the surrounding areas where there's less competition, the population's a little less than the bigger markets, right?
Absolutely correct. And I find that doing that gives us dialing in faster. When I went into a bigger market and I didn't dial in the outskirts, it took me 3 or 4 months before I started getting actually decent leads. And again, if you're established and you're doing half a dozen deals a month and you want to grow, that's fine. Yet if you're on deal 1 or 5 or 10, you probably don't want to be spending even $5,000 a month for 4 or 5 months before you see a return. You want to start seeing a return at least by, week 6. That's always my goal when I start putting money into something.
So Facebook and Google, and then you had mentioned the third one, that's Bandit Signs, right?
Yeah.
Wow. So I always tell all of the new students that I'm working with, Bandit Signs are a great way to start. They're cheap. They're super cost effective. Sometimes they'll only be up on a sign for a couple hours, but sometimes they'll stay up for months.
They do.
Months, and it's crazy.
I've put them out before. We do consistently now 25 a week. I remember back when I was doing it myself in the beginning, I would put them out. I might put 50 out in a weekend. Right. And I would be so disappointed because, I put them out on Friday and, Monday comes and I've not got one call, or maybe I got one dud call. And I'm like, this sucks. And then 3 weeks later, I would get a phone call. And it's a really good deal. And I'm like, where'd you see me? And they're like, the sign on the corner of X and X. And I'm like, that was a month ago. And so just that consistency of doing it. And, we don't overwhelm the area. We don't like to take it, to do that. Yet just consistently trickling them out gets a consistent last number I had. I haven't looked at the stats for a few weeks. Last number I had, every third call that came off of a Bandit sign, we've been buying in the Evansville market.
Man, that is so cool. So I got to back up though. I asked what was the ideal person, right? What kind of seller are you looking for? You had mentioned motivated seller.
Yes.
Did you mention that second one yet, or do we go down the rabbit hole there?
Yeah, I kind of brushed over it. Thank you for bringing me back. I tend to have a little bit of that going on. So, which all of us entrepreneurs do, right? That's why we're entrepreneurs.
Hey, the coffee helps.
That's right. Squirrel. So what we do commonly is motivated is always our best people. People we are the answer to their prayer. We help them win. We win. Everybody wins when we're dealing with them. Secondly, and less commonly in this hot market, I found it intriguing to me that sometimes it's especially when you're dealing in a higher priced house, if you're trying to buy owner financing, say $400,000, $500,000 houses and up, which if you're in California, that's a sizable doghouse for $400,000 or $500,000 in a war zone. If you're in Kentucky, that's a really nice place. So it depends on where you are. Yet if you're buying the $400,000 or $500,000 houses or up, especially I've noted a lot of times it's just a business decision for the seller. So maybe they just want top dollar over time. Maybe they're not desperate, quote, desperate to sell. Yet they realize that by selling it for quick cash, they're going to get. I'll just give you a quick little example. Perhaps I have a $400,000 house. Somebody has a $400,000 house. They want to sell it. They want to sell it for $380,000. And they get to look at it and I go, okay, I got to pay realtor fees, 6% commission. I got to take care of inspections. I got to take care of appraisals. I got to take care of some concessions. If I'm lucky enough to get an offer for $370, then I'm going to wind up walking away with $330. They start doing the math of all this and they go, wow, $330 on my $400,000 house. And then I come along and I go, what's the least you'll take on a monthly payment? And they go $350 or $60. And I say, deal. We'll buy it with nothing down, make you a monthly payment until we pay you off in the future when we resell the property.
So the motivated seller, you're typically making the cash offer to, whereas this. So what would you define that second class of seller as? What's the?
I would say people who want to make a business decision to make more money over time.
You ever heard of it that way before, man?
No, that's awesome.
And that's great, though. I love that.
I'm like all in.
And that's exactly what you're doing, though, is you're spreading it out. But you're also offering more money. So when I come in with the cash offer, it's like 50 to 60 cents on the dollar typically before, like just from the hip. Anybody that's listening, there's a simple formula. MAO equals ARV times discount rate minus repairs. Discount rate's typically around 70 to 75%. When you take those repairs out, you're usually at like 50 cents on the dollar, right?
Almost always in our world, it's 50 cents on the dollar.
That's it. Exactly. So the motivated seller, it's about 50 cents on the dollar. But the person that is a little bit savvier and they want to make a better business decision, what kind of cents on the dollar are you typically offering them? Now, it's not a cash offer, but it's still an offer, right?
Yes. So to do 70% or so of our business being terms, I always offer terms first, 100% of the time.
70%. Nice.
70% of our deals.
Wow.
Yes. So even if I call them, it's a $200,000 house and they're only wanting 100, I'm still going to ask for financing, owner finance first, 100% of the time, because it just works.
Right.
Then if not, then of course we go to the cash offer. So right now, I would say average when we buy with owner financing, we're paying about 80 cents on the dollar. Yet I've paid 95 cents on the dollar and I've paid 50 cents on the dollar. It just depends on what they're asking for.
The cool thing, Drew, is so if you go and do your time value of money and do a discounted cash flow formula for your money by being term, not cash up front, it could even be better than the 50 cents on the dollar, just because money's more valuable in your pocket today than tomorrow. So I think that's killer.
And the value of the property on average over the last 80 years is going up every year, little by little, but it's going up.
Yep.
So paying that off over time versus today, 85 cents on the dollar later, if you average it out, could be 60 cents on the dollar.
And the cool thing is you can go to a seller with two different offers. One looks way more sexy than the other sometimes, but at the back, if you open your book up, you're making the same roughly with the discounted cash flow formula included. I think that's extraordinary.
Yeah.
On average, I make 3 times on the terms deals over the life of the deal what I do on the cash deals. Yes.
Wow.
And not to mention, if you're doing any number of deals and making some serious money, you talk about the tax and the depreciation and all the benefits you get by having a few $1 million of real estate sitting there. Oh my gosh.
That's awesome.
I love it. All right. So super quick. I don't want to go again down a big rabbit hole here, but you come across a seller, they're somewhat motivated. You pitch them on owner finance and they say, yeah, I'm interested in that. Tell me more.
Yeah.
That's it.
So
question.
Yeah. Question. Answer. So this is awesome. So we
you've never seen anything like this, have you?
That's right.
He's come on like, this is mad. This is the craziest thing. He said to me before we started, is there anything you need me to? I was like, you'll figure it out. We're just gonna figure it out.
MSU plan. Make stuff up. I'm here. All right. So so we got when it comes to them going, tell me more, I say, well, there's not really anything to tell you. I'll buy the house for agreed price. I'll make you a monthly payment until I pay you off in the future when I resell it. And then commonly they'll say, well, send me an offer. I say, gotcha. Happy to do. Used to, I say, no, I can't send you an offer. I need to nail down terms. Now I agree with them. I say, absolutely. I'm happy to do so. Only 2 more things we need to nail down. So what's the least you'll take on purchase price? Well, I wanted $380. What's your offer? What's the least you'll take? I'm paying all closing. There's no 6% commission. well, there's some flexibility there. What are you thinking? I was like 300 flexibility? No, I couldn't do that. Okay, how much? Well, 360.
360. There you go.
Okay. So you're telling me if I send you over an offer for 355, you would take it? Well, yeah, I will. Seriously, I do it all the time. I'm $5,000 per deal every time by using that line right there.
Right.
Okay, so you're telling me send over an offer 355 that you'd be ready to go. Yeah. Okay, cool. So two final things. What's the least you'll take as a monthly payment? Remember, I'm taking care of responsibility for maintenance, repairs, and taxes and insurance. You're free and can move on.
So they can walk away from this property and not have to worry about any of that other
headache
stuff.
Free. If they owe, of course, in some cases they owe back taxes or something, that's going to be on us, not them. So
the deed actually transfers. So there's a sale essentially,
yes.
Even though you may not be buying their underlying debt out, right? If somebody has a mortgage on their property, guys, and Andrew comes in and he says, I'll buy this property, but I want to buy it from you on terms. You're not necessarily paying off that loan, but and that's irrelevant essentially. But what I'm getting at though is there's actually an exchange of deed.
Yes.
You're going to a closing attorney or a title company, and the actual sale is taking place with the terms in place.
Absolutely. And the way we structure that is we always close with a real estate attorney, so it's done right. Everybody's comfortable. And I'll tell them that if they have any concern. And then we give them a note and a mortgage on the property. Even if there's an underlying mortgage, it's called a wrap. If it's free and clear, then it's not a wrap. It's just they get it's recorded. My company owes that person that amount of money and those terms we agree on. So they come back with $1,600 a month. Is that the best you can do? And 13. Okay. So if I send you over an offer with $1,300 a month, 355, one last thing I need to nail down with you. Usually we buy with nothing down since we're paying all closing costs. All right.
I love that little. I got to stop you because we're paying closing costs, but you're like $800 or $1,500 or
depending on your state.
Oh my God, it sounds so good though. It's like, oh, but you're not gonna have to pay those 6% real estate commissions, and we're gonna pay all those closing costs.
And if you're in Florida, like you got transfer tax and who's what else. So on a $300,000 house, your closing costs might be $13,000 if you're in Florida.
That's very true.
And when you say mortgage wrap, is that just a second? Like you have a second on it if there's a first mortgage in place?
Not exactly. So let's say they owe, back to our 360 example, let's say they owe $300 to Wells Fargo. We just have a note and a mortgage that wraps around the current mortgage for $360. So rather than them owing $300 and we owe them $60, it's just $360 combined, and then we cover their underlying mortgage.
The bank's okay with that. That has a term loan.
So there is a due on sale clause when the deed transfers, and if I ever get asked that, I make that very clear, and they understand that.
That's a great question.
Yes, and thanks for asking, Andrew. And by the way,
Andrew.
so the due on sale clause, and yet I've known people that bought thousands of them. I've bought hundreds of them, and I have yet to have anybody call the loan due. In fact, you got time for a let me share this with you. It's actually a little bit humorous. So we had back to the deal. So wrapping up the deal, I'll say we buy with nothing down. If they say I want something, say what's the least you'll take. Wrap it up, send them the contract. Now we got a deal. Notice 2 minutes ago I would have had to send them a contract, just blowing up numbers, and then we've been going back and forth for a week.
You dial it in first.
2 minutes of that conversation. Absolutely happy to send you an offer. Just need to nail down these final couple things. And so I had a deal a local lender had. And the seller called me off of a Bandit sign and said, I need to sell this house. He was behind on payments. It needed some work. He was a tired landlord, and he had to be out. And so I bought the house. I actually at the time bought it subject to. He sold me the house, and I agreed to start covering his payments. I didn't even do a wrap back. This is several years ago. And so the lender, I start making the payments. I bring it current. Everything's great. The lender calls me about 6 months later, and he goes, Andrew, I noticed XX company owns this. Is that you? I said, yes, it is. He said,
the lender called you.
The lender called me.
The seller's previous lender, right?
Yeah.
Their lender, right.
Yeah, which is interesting. Now, if it's Wells Fargo, Bank of America, whatever, they don't even, from my experience, they never even notice. This is a local guy. He goes, I want to let you know that that's good and all. I appreciate you making the payments. You're going to have to come down, though, and we're going to have to do some paperwork and move the loan over to your name. And I said, unfortunately, that's not how I do business. I said, I do bank loans on either properties that I'm way below value in or on commercial deals. I said, but when I'm taking over a debt, helping somebody out, that's just not how I do it. And he said, well, I'll have to call the loan due. And I said, I understand. In the meantime, you might have to keep sending payments. He said, well, no, that'd be fine. About 6 months later, the phone rings. And he said, Andrew, I just calling you to let you know we got to have you come down here and move this loan over to your name. I said, well, previous discussion, I'm sure you're
forget about our last conversation.
Yeah, I'm sure you had underwriters or something. And I said, in the meantime, you care if I keep making payments? He said, oh, that'd be fine. And so 6 months later, the phone rings. I had it a year and a half now. And I just figured it was my semi-annual, call that we're now starting to get used to.
Yeah.
And he goes, I get a question. I said, same answer as last time. What's up? He goes, so the guy you bought this house from has another one, then he's behind on payments. Would you care to do to that one? I said, well, send me the numbers. I mean, I assume I would. So thanks to the lender, I actually bought another house from the guy. And 2 weeks later, my phone rings. Hey, Andrew, both those loans, you're going to have to come down and put them in your name.
Oh, my God.
I said, I think you know the answer. He goes, I know. Keep making the payments. And so I ended up, of course, having those, paying them down, and then selling them for about $80,000 profit after I held one for about 3 years and one for about a year. And we all lived happily ever after. So I tell that story just to make the point. Now, is there somebody can he call the loan due? Absolutely. Yes. Yet banks, from my experience, enjoy getting paid. I mean, they realize that you're making a business decision and send them a check every month. It's just not been a problem in my world.
So what are you going to do if it comes due, if they say loans due, just for everyone listening, if that does happen, what are you going to do then?
Well, there's three options. Number one is to do what I did. I called them. They was happy. I was happy. And everybody was winning, right? Number two, we sometimes had the option of refinancing. You could, if you wanted, you own the property, you could go and do what he asked you to do, and put it in your name, assuming the deal makes sense. Or thirdly, I guess you could technically give it back to the seller. Again, my option has always been, I'm going to keep sending you payments because, business is business. Life is a game. Money's a game. A lot of people just playing the game. And in the beginning, I didn't realize that. And, that lender had no hard feelings against me. He was just doing his job. And when I done my job and just simply with confidence answered him back, he was happy at the end of the day to keep making payments, taking payments. So my answer is always the same. You got to do what you got to do. I'm going to keep sending you money. And their answer tends to be the same. Their answer tends to be the same. Keep accepting.
Yeah. What kind of a term in terms of like duration? Is this a 5 year? Is it a 10-year? Now we're still talking about the front side, the purchase from, and these sellers are still, I would assume, somewhat motivated, even if they are willing to do a terms deal.
Sure. So it depends on the seller. I use this phrase right here. I say sellers commonly give us 30 years. And I shut up.
So you set the precedent. You're anchoring with 30 years. I love that.
See what they say. Oh, my goodness, I couldn't do that. I've had them literally go, I couldn't do that. I'd say, well, what can you do? They go, well, I wouldn't go a day over 10 years. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So when you're negotiating, for people, listening, watching, you're obviously playing your best cards all the time, right? Again,
Absolutely.
No money down, right? You're getting a price out of them. You're going for the longest term, and then you can always back off. So let me ask you a question. What is the worst numbers or the worst deal, if that's even a word? Like, how tight will you take this deal? Like, how much will you give down? Over what % interest? Over how tight is the cash flow payment?
That's a great question.
Like,
that is a good question.
Like, so people can go, okay, if that's the worst case and I'm under
for this repay days. Monthly payment, how much you have to pay a month, and both dollar-wise and interest-wise. And then the back end, how much equity do you have? So I always look at it as 3 pieces of the puzzle, and 2 has to be good or 1 has to be super great. So I just give you an example. If I had a house that's worth 300 and I could buy it with 200 for 200 grand, I had to put 30 grand up front, and I had to put, maybe the payment is steep. Maybe it's 2,100 a month. There's no monthly room for I know the rent will only be 2,100. I know I can only get 30 housing payday there. Right. Yet that same deal they owe 300 on, and they want 2,100 a month, and they want 30 not do or 1 be great. The dream is, and on rare occasion, you'll get all 3 being amazing. You got huge equity, huge cash flow, and nothing down. Those are the dream come true. Yet as long as 1 is super or 2 are good, I do the deal.
So what's your average? Oh, go ahead.
Sorry, real quick. So basically, the more that you give down, right, you want more equity.
Yes.
For people to understand. The least equity on the back end, the less you're going to give down. Yes. Right. And then ideally, you want a cash flow. Like how tight would you take the cash flow? Like what's reasonable? Do you want 300 a month? Do you want 500 a month? 100
that's a
month?
Great question.
What are you looking at?
And so for me, I average 300 a month per deal because I'm in low price stuff. Average about $120,000 house. So 300 a month is solid. Yet again, if I got good front end and back end, I'll take it with no cash flow. I'm okay with that. Or if I don't have great front end or back end, I want like 400 or 500 a month at least. I got one property that's like 900 a month, and that's even better.
Yeah. That's awesome.
Yeah,
that's really awesome.
Yeah, we have questions as well, Dave. You want to hit?
Yeah, we do. I got one more of my own, and then I want to jump into the listeners and the viewers here. So
yes, please.
You had said that you set the bar, the precedent, the anchoring, however you want to word it. I'm typically doing 30 years, right? And they may or may not like that. Sometimes they're going to say, okay, they're not even going to care. Sometimes they're going to say they want 10, right? Over all of your experience, which is tons, what are you typically settling with them at in terms of that time frame? And the second part of that is there ever a balloon?
Yes. So I would say over half the time I get full term, 30 years or what, if they have an underlying loan, 21 years, 20 set, whatever it is. So
whatever the existing loan is essentially.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay.
So that's very common. Half the time at least. 30 to 40% of the time, give or take, less than half, they will ask for a balloon. And then we negotiate. I didn't want to go over 2 years. Oh my gosh. I don't remember the last time I done less than 10.
Right.
And we go back and forth and see where we end up. And if, again, it goes back, that is just another 4th piece of the pie when we're talking about the 3 paydays. If they want a 2-year balloon or a 3-year balloon and we wind up ever being there, I need to make sure there's a lot of equity. If I am paying $300,000 for a $310,000 house, on a 30-year balloon, I'm cool. If I'm paying $300 for a 310 house on a 3-year balloon, I'm not cool.
Yeah. Okay. That makes perfect sense.
So again, just to break that.
Balloon.
Sorry.
Go ahead, Gavin. Go ahead.
I just wanted to break it down real quick for people. So basically, again, it's that equity piece again, right? Because the longer the term, you're gaining and building your own equity in the deal to make it better over a longer term. So that's what people listening going, well, why couldn't he do that? Is because over 15 years, he's got now 15 years of principal only or principal payments that have now reduced that balance. Now he has that equity in that length of time.
And price is going up if everything goes well.
Yeah, and that as well. Awesome. Sorry, Dave, carry on.
No, that's it. That's awesome. I love it. And that's, I figured that would be the answer, but I just wanted to make sure because if it's a balloon that's 10, 15, 20 years out and you got equity, that's no big deal. Just go to the bank and refinance, use the equity as your skin in the game. The bank's going to give you the money to pay the seller off. It's not even like you're having to it's not even a big deal, right? But if they want a short term, it's going to challenge it. So the cool thing is you essentially have 3 of these levers, right? You got the how much do I got to put down? How much can I make a month, or how low can I get my monthly payment to you?
Yep.
Right. And then what's the third one again?
How much equity do I have?
Oh yeah, how much equity? Obviously, that's the best one, right?
Yeah.
So how much equity do I have? And if one lever goes down, the other two are going to slide up, and you're essentially looking to get 2 of the 3 or one that's way high, and then you'll figure out the rest later. I love it, man. That is so cool.
Something that's so fun to do, and I want to make sure we don't miss any other questions. Something that's so fun to do is when they, let's say we usually buy nothing down. Let's say that back to my 360 deal, and they go, I got to have something down. I'll say, well, we was at 355. What's the least you'll take down? And this word right here, and the listeners probably want to write this down and use this. They say, well, I need 20%. Oh my gosh, you need $70,000. Say I'm at 0, you're at 70,000. How much closer to my number can you get?
Yep.
And then
they'll let them negotiate against themselves, man.
See what they say. And then you would be shocked at how many times I said, we could do 5, 6, 5, 7, 8. We could do maybe 10,000.
When they're asking 70.
And I shut up. Yeah. Used to silence on the phone bothered me. Now it doesn't. It may go silent for 20 seconds, and everything in me goes, say something.
Yeah.
Shut up.
Don't break. Never break the silence.
Never break the silence. He first loses. Yes. So I shut up, and I come back and go, well, if you could do 15 down, we got a deal. I go, one caveat. If you want 15 down, I'm going to have to get the price down to 350. Okay.
Man, so again, you're still moving those levers.
All levers
until the last minute. I love it.
Absolutely.
Well, and again, I think part of the negotiation in any negotiation for anyone, regardless even for wholesale, it's a give and take, right? You never want to get bullied. You never ever agree to something without taking something, because they need to understand their place and go, okay, if I ask for this, he's going to want something from me. And this could be as much as the closing date. 30 days over 45. If they want 30, well, I'm going to take this, because we need to again boss and stay in control of that negotiation at all times. So again, just another tip for people.
Yes, I love that.
I absolutely love that. All right, let's jump into some questions. Before we wrap up, though, I want to talk about the back end side of things.
That's
right?
me.
So
I did not.
We dove. Oh no, you're fine. You're fine. We dove deep on the acquisition, right? Where we're finding the motivated seller, and that could be a cash offer, or we're finding somebody that's willing to accept those terms to acquire the deal. Let's jump into some questions, but before we wrap up, I want to briefly talk about what you're doing to disposition these deals, to sell these deals. And you had mentioned lease options, which is awesome, and we can circle back. Very cool. All right, so Jessica had a question here. What happens in the process once you get a deal accepted from a realtor and you don't have deposit and you want to wholesale the deal? So I would imagine, and I'm going to let Andrew answer, but he's not probably dealing with too many realtors.
That is correct. Almost. So in the last year, 2 of my deals came from realtors.
Same.
Now, when you say 2 from realtors, was that a listing or was that a referral from a realtor?
Those were both listings. So we deal almost solely with
contact the agent, or did the agent contact you?
Agent contacted us.
Okay, so that's his question, right? You aren't looking for active deals.
No.
No. Agents know you because you've been in the game. You know what you're doing. Yep. You have experience, and you kick ass. We love you. Thanks for coming on the show today. Yeah,
thank you.
They contact you because they're like, hey, we know you can get this done, and we know they're asking 370, but they'll probably take 275. And they contact you, and then we say, okay, cool, we can do that deal. But you're not actively contacting listed properties. Correct. Jessica, if that's your approach, I'm praying for you, right? Because in the game of real estate investing, you make your money when you buy, you get paid when you sell. And real estate agents, their goal and their job is to get as much as they can for their client. So it's kind of counterintuitive.
And I will say, from the wholesales, we wholesale almost strictly from FSBOs. I recommend waiting to start doing anything with the realtors. I have some realtors who bring me bank-owned deals back when that was a thing back in 2019. And you want to have some private money lined up or something. because if you're going to attend auctions and different things with realtors, you may end up having to fund the deal. So if you're going to wholesale the deal, contact the FSBOs.
I love it. All right. Matt Smith is probably the VIP
He is
when it comes to showing up every week. I don't believe I've met him yet, but I am excited to. He's got a bunch of questions, but he's always got really good questions. So I love seeing
awesome
chat here. Yes. All right. So what are you guys' thoughts on Zillow not buying houses anymore? Do you feel a massive shift is coming? That's a two-part question. I don't really care if Zillow buys homes or not. What do you guys think?
Yeah, I mean, it literally, I think, came out yesterday that now they're not buying, but I think it was down some tech issue or something.
Okay.
I don't know. Zillow, yeah, I'm with Dave. Like, I don't see it, and I'll be interested to see what Andrew says. But what they're doing is, it doesn't really bother me either. I think the big funds and stuff like Zillow, they kind of just go all in. And they don't know what they're doing, and then they get too deep, and then they pull out and regroup, and then they go all in again because they've been in and out through COVID.
Here's the deal: they're not gone forever. They may just temporarily stop.
Yeah,
they need
absolutely.
To figure
They're
out
probably
and
just
retool their
100%. They're just regathering on a few things, and probably said, right, hold off a minute, let's gather ourselves, and then they'll be back again until something else breaks.
So part two: do you feel a massive shift is coming? I feel there is a massive shift coming with people like the three of us here educating other people on how to use real estate to get wealthy. That's the shift I see that's coming. Everything else is irrelevant. Truly.
Yes. I agree. The first reaction I had when Zillow started overpaying for houses and some other big players was, oh my gosh, what idiots. Yeah. And then I was like, wait a minute. They can't be that stupid. They're worth, at least a few billion more than me, I think. Yeah. So what are they knowing that I don't? So I just, for critical thinking, started thinking from the other side. What do they know that I don't? And then I heard that in the last, believe it's 6 years. Is it 6 years or last 4 years? 60-something% of all money that we have, every piece of money you're holding
has been printed in the last 18 months.
This is probably printed in the last few months.
2/3 of the money we have printed happened in the last 18 months. How do you not have a shift?
So this is going down in value massively quickly. So houses, how does that equate? And I don't have all the answers. I'm just started thinking differently, going, this is going down in value. They're printing it faster than we can even make it. I mean, if you're working a W-2 job, you're getting behind getting a check every week because, I mean, other than
check every week is getting a little bigger, which it's not. But yeah, you're getting behind. Right?
I mean, gas a year and a half ago was $1.43, and now it's like double or triple. So where are we headed? In fact, I had across the river had 99-cent gas 2 years ago. It just popped up the 1 year anniversary earlier in the year on my phone. So less than 2 years ago, I had 99-cent gas. So point being, this is going down. Real estate's going up. Will there be some major shift? Absolutely.
There always will be.
I just want to have all the tools in my tool belt so that when the massive shift happens and some people are running away, we can run into it and make way more money.
Yeah.
It's
about adapting, isn't it? You have to be able to adapt. And the thing is, we all do creative ways. We all buy wholesale. We've done a flip. We've done all these things. And when the market changes, you just change with it. That's
absolutely
the key, is you just adapt to what's in front. I invest for today. I don't invest what's going to happen, because if you try and invest in a month or 6 months time, you've now got a scarcity mindset, because we do all feel there will be a correction. But when? We've been saying it for I'm that way. 2 years.
Listen to this guy. Listen to this guy right here. That's right, guys. There it is. Jump in. Don't delay. Don't. Yeah. Right. Don't wait to buy real estate. That's the saying. Buy real estate and wait. I love that. All right. Matt's got more questions. Again, Matt is the VIP, man. We love having Matt here. We're coming in and listening and asking questions. And if you guys are watching right now, two things. We love the audience interaction. We want you to ask questions. That's the whole point of why we do this, right? Number 2, hit that like button. If you're on YouTube, hit that subscribe button. It's going to help us reach a wider audience so we can help change more lives. So thank you so much for watching. And again, hit that like and subscribe button. Matt says, how many owner finance deals are you doing per year? I just did one the other day, and it was the first one I had done in like 18 months. But Andrew is the man here, and he does a ton of them. How many are you doing?
Well, I would say, so we're growing our base and our markets. I would say in the past, we've been averaging between 50 and 75 deals a year. It's doing nothing but increasing. Out of those 50 to 75,
that's about 1 to 2 a week, basically.
Oh yeah. We average. My record has been 9 in a week, but we ain't been able to average that. so the about 3/4 of those, between half and 3/4, but lately it's been about 3/4. So if I had to do the last 12 months, my best guess would be we've done 40 owner finance deals in the last 12 months.
Man, and how many of them are you keeping them all, or are you wholesaling them to other cash buyers?
Do a little bit of everything. So something very cool, and I know we're low on time, so I won't take long with this. Something very cool that I've done recently. When they're in an area that I used to, I would just pass on. I will go ahead and negotiate the deal, and rather than assigning it for 10 grand, I will buy it with owner financing, sell it to another investor with owner financing. Maybe I negotiated very low interest rate, so I get 10 grand assignment fee. Plus, I get a 50, 60, 70, or maybe even $150 a month net cash flow and 30 or 40 grand over time, all because I took a few minutes to negotiate a quick deal and flip it to another investor.
Yeah.
More on that later.
Awesome. Yeah.
All right, let's bang through these questions.
Are you doing terms on only newer homes, or are you rehabbing and wrapping? And then what's your typical dispo like? So first and foremost, newer homes, older homes, does that matter?
No.
Does not matter. Are you rehabbing any of them? High end, low end, doesn't matter. Are you doing rehab typically?
Lightly rehab, sometimes paint or carpet, or if it needs a new HVAC, we'll put that in. But no, we're not doing big rehabs on our lease options.
Love it. And what's the typical disposition look like then?
Lease option. So if it needs some work, especially paint and carpet, we commonly put somebody in who's willing to do the work. If it needs, like I said, something to make it livable, HVAC, plumbing, electric, we do that. Beyond that, a lot of times we do work for equity, and our tenant buyer does the work.
Nice. Are you asking?
Go ahead, Gavin.
So I was going to say, are you asking 3 to 5% down from the tenant or more?
That's a good question. Yeah, what's the down? Obviously, as much as you can get.
I ask, what's the most you can put down on your lovely new home?
I like the way you word
What would you say your average get then?
This guy is a wordsmith.
10%.
Holy cow.
Yeah.
I love it. All right. Transfer the insurance to the new owner, or just in general, what's the insurance look like, right?
So we have a great insurance company called RAI Guard, and we get insurance with that. So we get insurance when it comes to selling the property. Our lease option tenant buyer gets a renter's insurance.
Okay, so the buyer gets the renter's insurance. You, as the new owner, get insurance. And then what about the seller? Because they still have a mortgage, right?
Yes, they can.
Cases. In most cases with how you structure this, right?
Yep.
So do they have to carry it too then, or no?
No, they cancel their insurance.
Wow.
Because he's taken over, though. He's taken over the property on owner finance.
So what happens if they have a mortgage that is escrowed? So it's escrowed with the taxes and the insurance. Whenever you transfer it over, you then have either an escrowed mortgage and or just pay those two bills, taxes and insurance, independently then?
So if it's escrowed and the bank don't do otherwise, we commonly send them a copy of our policy, and they usually accept it.
Nice. Good answer. Very, very cool. All right. How long do you keep
Tom, real quick, Tom Kroll's in the house, giving us a bam.
Tom, all right.
Yeah, Tom.
I'm happy you're here. Everybody loves Tom.
Good to see you, man.
He's one of my favorites, man. That's just a genuine guy right there. I love him. Absolutely.
Sorry. Carry on.
All right. So how long do you keep the houses before a wrap buyer refinances, right? So if you do the lease option, well, first and foremost, what percentage of lease options on your end, where you're selling to the lease option tenant buyer, that's the best way to word that, I believe,
Yep.
What percentage are they exercising that option?
Good
Low,
question.
Like 3 to 5%, or
We do. So there's several answers to that. It depends on which category of our business they're falling in. Overall, we have about 25% that end up going ahead and carrying through with the purchase.
that's a great number for
Yeah.
both sides.
Yeah.
Because they're actually honoring the option, which is what you want at the end of
Yeah.
the day, right? We don't want to take option deposits and nobody exercises. That's not the game, right? We want them to win.
We want them to
love
win.
that.
We set them up to win. We put them with our lender to win, and but occasionally just happened last.
Stuff happens. Yeah.
Last month, and the lady called me. She said, "I'm moving with my boyfriend. I'm out." I said,
Okay.
"You don't want to buy the house?" She goes, "No, I got a boyfriend," and
they forfeit that down payment. I love it.
Yep.
So, what do your dispo terms look like, and do you avoid loans, with PMI or MIP?
So when we sell a lease option. They give us a non-refundable option deposit. Every penny that goes toward their purchase. When they buy, they pay us a monthly rental payment. They can pay an additional payment toward that non-refundable option every month if they choose. They don't have to. And then at the end, we normally give them 1 year to cash out. So
1 year terms on the options then?
Yes. Some special occasions they need longer, and we work with that. Yes.
Got it. But one is kind of the go-to standard thing that you guys are doing. Holy
Absolutely.
cow. Matt is just on fire with these questions today. What's your best list to pull to get seller finance deals? So you're not even really pulling lists, it sounds like. You're doing Bandit.
Very little.
You're doing
Bandit
online
Signs,
marketing from
PPC,
Facebook
yeah.
and Google.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, here's the thing, Matt. You're going to find more motivated sellers with vacants and absentee-owned property in general.
Free and clear as well.
Or free and clear as well, right. But that doesn't necessarily mean, look at this guy. You got to come over and say hi. Look at this guy popping in the screen here. Chris
What's up?
What's up, buddy?
Love this guy. Holy cow. Try to surround myself with A players like this guy here and this guy right here. I love it. I love it. All right. So let's see here. We got time for a couple more. I do want to respect Andrew's time. So maybe another 1 or 2 more minutes, Andrew, if that's okay.
Perfect.
Let's see here.
I just want to do a quick other share real quick. Tom just gave a good list as well.
Oh, yeah.
Which is
the water turn-off
list is great.
List.
You can get it.
Great list.
That's an amazing idea. I love that.
I will tell Chris you said hello. He was on a call, so I was interrupting him, and you got it, Tom. I got you, man. I got you. Yes. All right. One more question. We got to respect Drew's time, everybody. Matt does say this is life-changing, and man, it is. Knowing these people, learning these techniques, building wealth with real estate it's easy, guys. It's so easy. All right, here we go. Last question. At $500 per deal, if you did 50 of them, that's $25K a month passive. Is it not? I think it is, right?
Yeah. If you have 50, if you're owning 50 houses at $500 a month net passive income, that's 25 grand. Very easy to do with higher priced houses. Get out there, put in some action. I mean, whether it takes you a year to accumulate 50 or 5 years to accumulate 50.
Right.
It's a good game plan.
That's it. All right,
Awesome.
Drew, thank you so much for coming on the show. Anybody and everybody that's watching or listening to this and they want to connect with Drew has an amazing coaching program. He is an amazing human being. We are so happy and grateful for his time. Drew, where would we send people to connect with you? Because I'm sure that we're going to have a couple people that are like, man, I want to work with him.
Absolutely. Well, first off, again, thank you. It's been an honor to be with you guys. Coffee with closers. I mean, can't beat that. I love this. Yeah. So this is fun. So I'm on Instagram at Schlag Drew, SCHLAG Drew. I'm on Facebook at Andrew Schlag. And you can email me at drewschlag@gmail.com. So my email is drewschlag@gmail.com. Hit me up one of those 3 channels, and you have further questions, we'll connect.
All right, I'm going to type these in one more time. drewschlag@gmail.com. What was the other 2?
Yep, Andrew Schlag on Facebook.
Got it.
And drewschlag@gmail.com.
And then what was the IG again? I'm sorry.
At Schlag Drew.
SCHLAGDREW. That's the IG. All right, guys, I'm dropping this into the comments if you want to connect with Drew. There is nobody better in the game to learn it from. owner finance on the front end, seller finance on the back end. This guy is
Least
awesome.
option on the back end.
At least option on the back end, yes.
Unless you're in Texas. Hey,
unless you're in
it's so fun. It's so fun.
Hey, thank you so much for coming on, man. It's always
Pleasure.
a pleasure networking with you. I can't wait to see you again, either at one of your events or at an event that we bump into each other. And last but not least, on behalf of Gavin and myself and Don, who couldn't make it today, thank you for coming. We are incredibly grateful for your time. I know it's hard to get away for an hour, but it means the world to us. So thank you.
I love you guys. You're awesome. Keep up the good work, man. Always love